And here's where it gets interesting, because most men completely miss this next part. When a woman hasn't felt that kind of closeness or intimacy in a long time, she doesn't usually come toward you in a bold, obvious way. She doesn't walk up and announce what she's feeling. Instead, she creates these small, almost invisible openings, little moments that are easy to overlook if you're not paying attention. She'll find reasons to be around you more often. Maybe the conversation that should have ended 5 minutes ago somehow keeps going. Maybe she circles back with a follow-up question that isn't really necessary, but it keeps the connection alive. Or she texts you about something random late at night, something that could have waited until morning but didn't. These aren't accidents. They're opportunities she's quietly placing in front of you. And the key here is subtlety. She's not doing this to chase you. She's doing this to invite you. There's a big difference. An invitation gives her room to stay safe. It allows her to gauge your interest without putting herself fully on the line. Because if she's been without intimacy for a while, there's a part of her that's cautious. She's not just looking for attention, she's looking for the right kind of attention. So instead of making big, risky moves, she creates these low-pressure entry points. She might sit a little closer than necessary. She might maintain eye contact just a second longer than usual. She might laugh a bit more, lean in slightly, or mirror your energy in a way that feels natural but intentional. It's all designed to see if you'll meet her halfway. And this is where most men get it wrong. They either don't notice it at all, or they downplay it. They tell themselves, "Oh, she's just being nice," or "That's just her personality." And while sometimes that's true, when these behaviors start to stack, when the effort is consistent, when she keeps finding ways to reconnect, that's not just friendliness. That's interest, trying to express itself in a safe way. The other mistake is going too far, too fast. Some men pick up on a hint of interest and immediately jump into something overly direct or physical, thinking they need to make a move right away. But remember, she's moving subtly for a reason. If you come in too strong, it breaks the dynamic she's trying to build. It makes her feel like you skipped over the connection she was trying to create. What she's really looking for in these moments is awareness. She wants to feel like you see her not just physically, but emotionally, that you recognize the effort she's making, even if it's quiet. And when you respond in a way that matches her energy, when you stay present, when you engage, when you lean in just enough without overwhelming it, create something powerful. Because now it's not just her creating opportunities. It's both of you building a connection together. And that's the shift. That's the moment where attraction starts to grow naturally instead of being forced. She feels safe enough to open a little more, and you become the man who actually understands what most others completely overlook. And once you start recognizing these quiet invitations, you'll be able to recognize the signs of a relationship. You stop missing the moments that actually matter, and then you'll start to notice something shift in her energy, and it's subtle at first. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. The way she talks to you becomes a little more playful, a little more charged. There's a lightness, but underneath that lightness, there's intention. She might start teasing you in a way that feels different from before. Not just casual jokes, but comments that create a tiny bit of tension between you. She might challenge you, question you, or playfully disagree with you. Not because she's trying to create distance, but because she's trying to create spark. That back and forth, that little friction, it's what brings energy into the interaction. And here's the thing, this playfulness isn't random. When a woman has gone without intimacy for a while, she's not just craving physical closeness, she's craving aliveness. She wants to feel something again. She wants to feel seen, desired, engaged. And playfulness is one of the safest ways to reintroduce that without making herself too vulnerable too quickly. You might notice she laughs a little more around you, or she exaggerates her reactions just enough to keep things interesting. She might lightly make fun of you, then smile in a way that softens it immediately. That push and pull, that's where the magic is. She's stepping forward, then stepping back, seeing if you can keep up without losing your center. And this is where a lot of men get thrown off, because that push-pull dynamic can feel confusing if you don't understand what's really happening. One moment she's warm, engaged, leaning in, and the next, she seems a bit distant, like she's pulling her energy back. And if you take that personally, if you react with insecurity or frustration, you break the rhythm she was trying to create. But if you understand it, everything changes. That slight pullback isn't rejection, it's calibration. She's checking how you respond. Do you get needy? Do you chase? Or do you stay grounded, match her energy, and keep the interaction fun and effortless. Because what she's really looking for here is emotional confidence. She wants to feel like you can handle that playful tension without collapsing it or overreacting to it. That you can tease her back, that you can smile and hold eye contact, that you can stay in the moment instead of trying to control where it's going. And when you do that, something powerful happens. The interaction starts to feel natural, almost magnetic. There's no pressure, no forced moves, just a shared energy that builds on its own. She feels free to express herself more, to lean into that playful side even deeper, because she knows you can meet her there. But if you miss it, if you become too serious or too passive, or you overthink every little signal, you shut that energy down. The spark fades, and what could have been something exciting turns into something flat. So instead of trying to analyze every word she says, pay attention to the feeling she's creating. Is there tension? Is there playfulness? Is there a rhythm to the interaction? Because that's where the real communication is happening. And when you learn to respond to that energy instead of questioning it, you stop feeling confused and you start becoming the man she actually wants to engage with. And this is the part where most men completely misread the situation, because they assume that if a woman hasn't been intimate in a long time, what she wants first is something physical. But that's not how it usually works. What she's actually looking for, what she's testing for, is emotional intimacy first. You'll see it in the way she starts opening up to you. The conversations go a little deeper than surface level. She's not just talking about what she did today or what she plans to do tomorrow. She's sharing thoughts, feelings, little pieces of herself that she doesn't give to everyone. And it might seem casual on the surface, but it's not. It's intentional. She might ask you more meaningful questions too. Not just what do you do, or how was your day, but things like what drives you, what you value, what you think about certain situations. She's trying to understand you beyond the surface, because emotional connection is what allows her to feel safe enough to even consider anything physical. And if she's been without intimacy for a while, that need for emotional safety becomes even stronger. She's not just looking for attention, she's looking for reassurance that if she opens up, she won't regret it. That if she lets you get closer, you're not going to mishandle that closeness. So what she does is she creates these moments where vulnerability is possible, and then she watches what you do with them. Does he listen, or does he brush it off? Does he stay present, or does he turn it into a joke to avoid depth? Does he try to rush things physically, or does he actually meet me where I am? And this is where everything either builds or breaks. Because if you ignore that emotional layer and jump straight into physical energy, even subtly, she feels it immediately. It creates a disconnect. It makes her feel like you're not really seeing her, like you're skipping over the part that matters most to her. And when that happens, she pulls back, not because she's not interested, but because she doesn't feel understood. But when you slow down just enough to meet her emotionally, something shifts. When you actually listen, when you respond with intention, when you allow the conversation to go deeper without trying to control it, you create a space where she can relax, where she doesn't have to guard herself as much. And in that space, attraction grows naturally, effortlessly. Because now, it's not just about whether she finds you attractive, it's about how she feels around you. She feels seen. She feels heard. She feels like she can be herself without having to filter or perform. And that feeling is what opens the door to everything else. What most men don't realize is that emotional intimacy isn't separate from physical intimacy. For her, it's the foundation of it. It's what makes it meaningful instead of empty. It's what turns a moment into an experience she actually wants to continue. So if you can understand that, if you can resist the urge to rush and instead lean into the connection she's offering, you position yourself differently from almost every other man she's encountered. And that's when she stops holding back and starts leaning in on her own. And this is where everything comes together. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about what she does, it's about how you respond to it. That's the part she's watching more closely than anything else. Every subtle invitation, every playful moment, every deeper conversation, it's all leading to this one question in her mind. What kind of man is he when I show up like this? Because when a woman hasn't been intimate in a while, she becomes incredibly aware of how her energy is being received. She's not just expressing interest, she's observing, quietly, carefully. She's paying attention to the small things most men don't even realize matter. Does he notice when I lean in, or does it go right over his head? Does he stay present when I open up, or does he get distracted and pull away? Does he respond with confidence, or does he hesitate and second-guess himself? These aren't questions she's asking out loud, but they're being answered in real time through your behavior. And here's where a lot of men lose the opportunity without even realizing it. They either become too passive waiting, hesitating, overthinking every move, or they go to the other extreme and become too aggressive, trying to force something that hasn't naturally built yet. Both of those responses break the connection she was trying to create. What she's actually looking for is balance. She wants to feel like you're aware, like you're tuned into what's happening between you without needing it to be spelled out. She wants to feel like you can read the moment, respond to it, and stay grounded in yourself at the same time. So when she gives you those subtle openings, she's watching, do you step into them, or do you ignore them? When she brings that playful energy, she's watching, do you match it, or do you shut it down by being too serious or too uncertain? When she opens up emotionally, she's watching, do you hold that space, or do you rush past it? And the answer to those questions determines everything. Because if you respond with presence and confidence, not arrogance, not pressure, just a calm, grounded awareness, you create a sense of safety and attraction at the same time. She feels like she can trust the interaction, like she doesn't have to control it, nub you or protect herself as much. And that's when she starts to relax into it. But if your responses are inconsistent, if you're engaged one moment and distant the next, or if you misread her signals and react in a way that feels off, it creates doubt. And doubt is what causes her to pull back, even if she was interested just moments before. This is why awareness is everything. Not overanalyzing, not trying to decode every little detail, but being present enough to feel what's happening and respond in a way that aligns with it. That's what separates a missed opportunity from a real connection. Because she's not expecting perfection. She's not expecting you to get everything exactly right. But she is paying attention to whether you're emotionally in tune, whether you're confident in your presence, and whether you can meet her where she is without forcing or avoiding the moment. And when you can do that, when your response matches her effort, her energy, her openness, you stop being just another interaction in her life, and you become the man she actually feels something with.